Hi friends, thank you so much for coming back to craft with me today, and welcome if you're new to my channel. My name is Alyssa, and I had previously done a flip through of this cute little Halloween journal here, and a lot of you had asked for a tutorial or you just wanted to see how I did it. So that's what this video is going to be today. If you missed the flip through of this one and you want to check it out, I will have it linked down below for you. But let's go ahead and I'll just show you how I created this. So I'm going to start here with just a regular size file folder and some fabric. And these are both from Dollar Tree, so you don't even have to spend a lot of money to create this. But let's start with the file folder first. So I'm going to open my file folder up here, and it obviously already has the fold here, or the crease, or whatever you want to call it. But then there's also these other two lines next to it, which I hope you can see. And what I'm going to do basically is just kind of like reinforce those little lines. I'm not sure what they're for, but for the journal here, they're going to be our spine. So there's no measurement here. I'm just going to line up the lines at one of my marks here where I can just score it all the way down. On this file folder, at least, the scores are probably about, it looks like they're 3/8 of an inch apart. But if your file folder doesn't have those lines or they're different, that's completely fine. It really doesn't matter. I kind of just do this because I like to have a curved and flexible kind of spine on my journal. So like with this one here, you can kind of see it's not like completely curved, but it's rounded at least. So that's the kind of look I'm going for. So now what I'm going to do is just fold along those score lines that I just created. So then when we go to open it back up, now we have those three lines. And this middle one here is where I'm going to fold when I go to fold it back in half. And then I'm just going to chop off this side here. So this is where we're going to decide the width of our journal. So that's totally up to you. You can make it as wide as you want it to be. I think I did, well, I lined this edge up here at the 6-inch mark, and then I just sliced it off. I don't remember if that was exactly the size of my last one, but again, it doesn't really matter. It's all preference. So I'm going to chop that off, and then I'm going to save the sides here as well to use elsewhere in the journal. But now I'm just going to turn this way, and now we're just going to cut this side off, and this will be the height of our journal. So again, I did 6.5, I believe, for my little Halloween journal, but you can choose whatever height you want for yours. So I'm just lining this up at 6.5, and I'm just going to slice off the rest. And again, this piece can be used elsewhere in the journal. So this is pretty much what we are left with. Now, I'm going to move my scoreboard, and at this point, I just go right in with my fabric and glue it right over top. And how pretty is this? I really love the color combo of yellow and like this turquoise color. So pretty. So I'm just going to basically glue my file folder here onto the fabric. So I'm going to just flip this over and then pop glue over the entire thing. And usually I do it like by section. So I'll do one side first and then I'll go and do the other side. So I'm going to start with this side and just pop some glue all over it. And yes, I do still just use my tacky glue here, which I use for everything. You can obviously use whatever glue works best for you. But this glue is pretty affordable and it works for me on lots of different mediums. So I just stick with this. I don't really have the largest crafting budget, so I just use whatever I have. And that's why I use tacky glue. Okay, and then I'll just put some over on the spine a little bit as well. And then I'm just gonna flip it back over now and attach it to my fabric. And I always like to make sure, of course, that there's some fabric on the edges so I can just fold it over eventually when we get to that point. But this is really all that I do, you guys. It's nothing special. And then I'll just really go and flatten this out and kind of just like stretch my fabric out a little bit, if that makes sense. Just so I can eliminate any other kind of bumps or wrinkles. It's not going to be perfect this way, but that's okay. Honestly, if you're making a junk journal, I feel like you don't need to worry about it looking or being perfect. So there's that. All right, and then I will just kind of flip this over and pop the rest of my glue onto this side. And then I will just bring this over onto this side. Smooth it out. Kind of pull the fabric taut just a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, it's sticking to the table. I'm just going to cut now along my journal here. Again, leaving a little extra border around the edges. Okay, so just gonna try to smooth this out a little bit more. And then what I'm gonna do is just cut out the corners of the fabric here. Something like that. Very messily and like sort of at an angle on either side. Like so. And I'll do that for all four corners. Okay, so this was going to be my front cover. I guess it doesn't really matter, but this is going to be the front cover. And then I'm just going to pop glue all around my 4 edges and just fold over the fabric. So I'm going to start with the top and the bottom. Well, I guess I'll start with the top and just bring the fabric right over the journal here. And do the same at the bottom. And now for the sides. Okay, and so that's basically what I do for the cover. So you can see the spine here. It's got some curvature to it. But now you just obviously want to let everything dry. So now I'm going to move on to my little file pockets. So in my Halloween journal, I used these extra scraps to create my pockets on the inside. I'm just going to double check the measurement. So the max width that I would want for my pocket would probably be around 5.5. So I might even do something like 5.25 or just slightly less than 5.5. So I'm going to just cut this piece. Let's just go a little bit less than 5.5. Okay, so there's one, and then this one, I'll do the same thing, just a little bit less than 5.5. And then I believe also for this one, I think I cut off like a little piece here, or maybe I even cut this piece off, just so I could have like a tab. So I'm just gonna cut off like that much maybe, and just give myself a little tab like that. But I do still want this shape. I don't know, I could have left this piece on, but I'm just gonna kind of follow the shape of this little tab here and just try to do something like this. I mean, ultimately, this is going to be covered up with fabric anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be this shape. But, okay. So this is going to be one pocket, and this is going to be my other pocket on the inside. So in my Halloween journal, I did cover these up with fabric as well. So maybe I'll do this one in the front this way, and then this one going that way in the back. So what I'm going to do is just bring back my fabric here. And then I'm going to just pop glue all over the front of my pockets. Let me just do both at the same time. And then I'm just going to lay them down right onto the fabric. And again, just make sure that there's some extra fabric around the edges. So we'll do that. And I will cut off the excess fabric again. And then separate these two, of course. And flatten all these out as well. All right, now I'm going to actually kind of try to mimic the shape of my tab here. It's so messy, I know. And then at this point, I kind of just eyeball where I need to make little slits. So I made one here, and I will probably make one here. So just like that. I don't know, I kind of just cut little slits, and then I'll cut out the corners here as well. So I'll just do that. And so I made these little slits over here because when you wrap the fabric around the tab, you really just need like to be flexible with the fabric. You know what I mean? And just play around with it so that it can go around your tab. And if you don't want to do this whole part, just cut off the tab. Just have like one solid rectangle pocket and make your life easier. But I know some of you wanted to see how I covered up the tab here. So I'm going to start at the top. I popped glue all along the top here, and I'm just going to kind of wrap the fabric around and mold it the way that I need it to go. So there's like really no rhyme or reason. I'm kind of just trying to, again, mold the fabric to the shape of my little file pocket here. And then just keep on going and gluing down your fabric. I'm really not good at explaining this, but hopefully just like watching me do it is helpful. All right, and then we'll do the bottom here. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and see what it looks like. And just see where I need to fix things here. Okay, so that's going to be my little file pocket, all covered up. So see how messy it is on this side? That's fine. Now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to use this extra piece from the file folder. And what I'm going to do is kind of just trace the shape of my pocket here. So I'll just go around lightly with a pencil, and I'm going to just cut out this shape, not along the lines that I just made. I just want a piece that's a little bit smaller than this pocket here, because what I'm going to do is just kind of like cover up all of this fabric now with this piece. So this can totally be a rough little cutout. So I'm cutting like inside the lines that I just created here. And I mean, look at how messed up this is. But we just want to glue this whole entire piece down now to the back of our pocket here, so that when we go to slide things inside our pocket, you know, we don't have all of this like fabric. I don't know if it would actually matter. I don't think things would get stuck on the fabric here, but just so we have like a relatively smooth inside so that we can slide things inside our pockets without worrying about messing up the fabric or anything like that. So hopefully that made sense, but I'm just going to now take this and glue it down completely just onto the back of my pocket. Okay, because you're not even going to see this side. It's going to be glued down like this inside of the journal. So I'm going to do the same thing now to this pocket here and kind of just roughly cut out the shape to match the tab. And then I'll cut a slit here and one here. And then I'll just cut out my corners. And then I will glue everything down once again. So again, I'm just putting the fabric where I want the fabric to go. All right, there's that one. And same thing again. I'm just going to roughly trace around the edges here. And then just cut out this shape. Actually, might need to cut it a little bit more. Okay. Whoops. I'm trying to go fast here, but you really want to take your time actually. Okay, so there are our two file pockets. Now I'm going to just bring back my journal here. And so essentially I'm just going to be gluing these down like so. But before I glue those down, I am going to want to cover up the background first and the spine area. So I did cut out just a little strip of the fabric here to cover it up. So I'm just going to do that. So this piece, I really just eyeball the size of it. So this is going to work nicely just to cover up my spine. I mean, if you would like a measurement, this is roughly about 2.5 inches across by about 6 inches tall. And so I'm just going to pop some glue all over the spine here. And then I'll just pop this right over top. Then just keep adding more glue to the rest. Now I've gone ahead and cut out 2 sheets of paper here, and these measure a little less than 5.5 inches across, like same as my pockets, by 6.25 inch tall. So I'm going to glue these down onto both sides of my journal here. And so you can see that there's going to be a slight border around my paper here, and then the spine obviously is going to be the fabric here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop some glue all over the back of my paper. And just place that right down, and make sure too that you're not going over the spine with this paper. Does this paper really match the fabric? I don't know, but it was just extra scrap paper that I had, so that's what I chose to use. All right, same thing with this one. So I'm simply just going to flip this over and glue down 3 sides, just like any other regular pocket. And I'm going to do this one. Now, obviously you want to wait for everything to dry, but that's basically how I created the cover of my other journal. And then now we can just pick out our pages for our signature. And I don't know if I'm going to split this video up. I'm probably going to split it up into 2. So I'm probably going to just end this part right here, and the next part will be me putting in the signatures. I know a lot of you wanted to see the little paperclip dangle that I created here, which I do have to credit Jessica over at Paper Terrace. I actually got this idea from her, and she does have her own tutorial on it, but I'm just gonna show you guys how I made my little dangle here as well. But I want to give all the credit to her because I got that idea from her. But anyway, I will see you all in the next part of this video, and hopefully we will have the finished product in the next video. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see the next part of this video as well so you don't miss out on it, and leave me a comment down below. I'll see you in my next video, and until then, happy crafting and huge hugs!